Oh, hi there. Guys, welcome back to my channel. I have recently found my green sunglasses, and I am very excited about that.
That's not what this video is about, so.
Today we're going to talk about the new TLC show that it's right up my alley in order for me to like watch it all the way through. I've watched Thousand Pound Sisters, I've watched Thousand Pound Best Friends, and I've watched every episode of My 600 Pound Life. Wow. For some reason, that niche is just it works for me. So now the pilot episode for 1,000 Pound Roomies has officially dropped, and I have watched it. Of course, I've watched it because we're about to talk about it. I should be able to stay on track along with my notes and keep my ADHD in check so I don't get too off track. The characters we are going to be introduced to in the first episode are going to be Jasmine, known as Jazz, Nisha, and Nana. So we'll get a little bit more into who each one is when they kind of like pop up throughout the episode. We originally start off with the introduction from Jazz and Nisha literally leaving their house together in all of their big girlness so they can basically just
We
bond over the burger is what they called it. And no shade, the burger's good. As of a person who's had In-N-Out once in Texas, it wasn't good to me. But anyways, that has nothing to do with it. And they have this whole song that they sing on their way because they're just like so excited to get some food. Look.
Dip, 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 double dip. Remix.
It's catchy. You can't say it's not catchy. Before we see what order they make at In-N-Out, they basically say that they both met online on this SSBBW community website. And SSBBW, if you don't know, because they explained it as well, is supersized big beautiful women. And apparently there's other categories in different, well, it makes sense, but there's other categories in different communities, from slim, thick, BBW. There's the SSBBW, which the girls were talking about, the USS BBW. But anyway, they just kind of explain that those are the community websites that they are talking about. Since Jazz is the breadwinner between the two roomies, between the two friends, um, them at the point where they met each other and they came together and actually became roomies, it actually seems like it's a good vibe. It's like it's a great option for both of them. It was what they really needed at the time. Let's go back to In-N-Out, and you guys listen to the order they make it In-N-Out. Let's just go ahead and listen to it.
Double double, no pickles. Then can we get another double double with no tomato, an animal style double double with a vanilla and chocolate milkshake, a 4x4 meal, and animal style fries with a large root beer.
That's a lot of food. And then Nisha also says, I want the same thing as well. Food. And since they're on a show that's 1,000 Pound Roomies, obviously they're going to be doing some sort of life changes that have to do with nutrition and just losing weight and everything. So we're going to ask ChatGPT, how many calories roughly would that be from In-N-Out? I believe it said that it's around 5,150 calories, like 5,100 calories, under 5,200 calories. That's the one order that they made before Nisha said, I'll get the same thing. But you don't need me to say that's a lot of high processed food. That's a lot of fast food for one meal. And speaking of a lot of fast food in one meal, they also spoke about in this scene how many times they've had takeout this week. 16 times this week. Oh, no judgment. That's a lot, though. After the intro scene of going to In-N-Out, we're introduced to Nana, who is Jazz's 9-year-old daughter, and she has autism. So that's really Jazz's main motivation to, get better, get healthier, get more active. She wants to become a more active mom. So in their house, the dynamic is basically Jazz is like I said, the breadwinner, and Nisha is the one who does most of the cooking and the cleaning because she's slightly smaller than Jazz, so she can move around easier. Like her mobility is better than what Jazz's is. They joke about the only thing that Jazz really needs to get up and kind of help Nisha with is when she has to get something off the top shelf because Nisha's a little short. She's a short queen, and I am one too. So ladder's not going to work for you. A tall person will do it just fine. And speaking of difficult tasks between like if what Jazz does and what Nisha does, they kind of go into the bathing process, how difficult it is for them to like just do something like cleaning themselves, just like regular hygiene. Like Jazz has 3 loofahs for like specific parts of her body to get in there because you really have to keep yourself clean when you have excess skin, a lot of rolls, things like that. They talk about also possibly feeling like they're gonna burst through the bathroom wall, and woo, I hope that doesn't happen. Besides them both kind of piggybacking off of bad eating habits and staying the size that they are, I would not say that it looks like they have a bad friendship without the enabling from both sides. They have an understanding of like to be polite to each other as much as possible. Like if one person wants to go out, the other person doesn't, they're like, hey, you can do it or whatever. Anyways, they have a very positive speaking friendship to each other, which is really nice. Jazz is the one who needs the most convincing to leave the house. She wants to leave the house, but the outside world freaks her out. She literally says that Nisha feels like a drill sergeant and she's very controlling when it comes to like, you said you wanted to leave the house. So let's go like to the pool with Nana and you can leave the house. This is when the show kind of breaks out into letting you know one of the main characters' backstories, and Jazz's is pretty much she just says she's always been a big girl. She was a bigger baby, which the picture that they show, she doesn't look like a big baby to me. Was a big girl, and basically what really threw her over the edge of, I guess, what she gained the more heavier set of her size and the really bad eating habits of picking up those snacks is she went through a really, really bad breakup. And I'm pretty sure anyone can understand the things that you do after a breakup. Watching her in the scene at the pool, her mobility reminds me of someone with really, really bad arthritis. And she's only 40 right now. And she just has so much trouble, and the fact of being that big, it seems to scare people, especially scare her in this instance with getting like stuck or falling. Now the following day, after the pool day, and Jazz doesn't really have a great day at the pool, it's her words, comes in and she's like, we're going to the beach, and Jazz is like, no, we're not. We're not going to the beach. We are not going to the beach. You can go. And Nisha's like, no, we're gonna go. You said you're gonna go. We're gonna go. Don't let what happened at the pool and your discomfort take this away from you. Almost forgot her name. Jazz, begrudgingly agrees, fine, I'll go or whatever. At this point, Nisha definitely is starting to show some enabling tendencies because she admits that if I am trying to get Jazz to go do something she's not really comfortable with, if I give her a lot of food, the food that she likes, then she'll be more inclined to say yes.
When I give Jazz the food that she wants, it does help.
Not the best, not the best at all. Because she's a social media model. She's just a social media influencer who works with brands, and she honestly has the worst anxiety that I have seen in a person who has a job like that. And I'm not saying it's uncommon because a lot of people who work really hard on their appearance seem to have a lot of insecurities about their appearance in real life compared to like online. She literally flat out says, I don't like to be looked at or around people in public. But honey, you are
A social media model.
this is what you do. This is how you literally make money off of putting yourself on the internet. And again, the camera is a smokescreen, but that's not really healthy when she's like, I hate people looking at me. There's more to it than when you hear her say those things. You would not expect her to have so much hate for being in the public eye compared to she really puts herself out there to be in the social media public eye. No, I can't say how she feels, but when she's flat out saying, this is how I feel about these things, boo, I'm listening. I hear you, babe. I hear you. Nisha and Jazz head off to the beach, and literally when they get there, Jazz is too embarrassed to get out the car. I'm too embarrassed to have people see me at this size. She's embarrassed.
I don't feel good at all. Like, I want to crawl under a rock.
And she's flailing with anxiety, and she is breaking down in tears, trying to explain how she feels.
I'm not going to the beach, Nisha.
We're already at the beach.
Well, that's fine, but I'm not walking or going over there.
Nisha's trying to be a good friend and kind of talk her into like your fears. We can work through them. It's not as bad as you think it'll be, but it's really hard to work past mental fears because they seem so real. Like in your head, these things seem real, even if it hasn't happened before, which is sadly what happens to a lot of people. So with Jazz refusing to get out the car, Nisha's like, well, we're at the beach. We drove an hour to get here. I'm going to the beach. So she gets out the car and she goes. And of course, she's not happy that Jazz, flaked out on going to the beach with her. But um, this is literally the difference that I see already between Jazz and Nisha. While Jazz has the super high social anxiety, Nisha kind of carries that, like, I don't care what other people think attitude, and she truly embodies that and bosses that, which is not good too. There's not one side of Jazz and Nisha that is not a problem. We get a little bit of Nisha's backstory, and we find out that since she was very young, she grew up in a religious cult, and she literally says the cult leader was very controlling and he was a manipulative man. And one of the examples that she gave was that while they're doing, he would not allow people to eat. So it would be early morning up until she said maybe 4 p.m. She would not be able to eat. This is children and adults.
This is everybody.
By 4 p.m. at the latest that she could remember, then she'd be able to eat. And that's where she picked up the bad habit of just throwing anything in her mouth and snacking. Basically, she literally said she was so hungry that while she was waiting on food by that point, she was starving, she would just put in the junk food. So that's that's definitely where she got her eating habit from. There's a bunny outside. Hi, Bunny! He's looking at me. We're friends. After Nisha gets done walking across the beach, she goes to one of the food truck areas and she gets a bunch of food, like a bunch of food ordered. And she brings it back to Jazz. And at this point, she's like, hey, Jazz, do you feel like eating? And of course, Jazz is going to say yes because there's like an impulse control when it comes to food. At this point, you hear Jazz actually admit while she's eating, it triggers like a switch in her mind.
Eating is like a switch. Once it's turned on, it's turned on. And it makes me so mad.
That she's just over enjoying it, and she's coming to, like, she's beginning to notice these things about herself because she doesn't truly want to do it, but she's realizing she can't really stop. And honestly, it seems to, at this point, it seems to start making her feel a little disgusted that she's overly feeling this way about food. From the statement that she made, I don't even think she wants to have food be her security blanket, because being a mother is literally, like I said, is Jazz's biggest motivation. So that motivation right there is what brings Jazz into reaching out to her friend Melinda, who has also been through like a good, I think she said like 200 pounds loss of weight. So after reaching out to Melinda to get some friendly weight loss like advice from a really close friend who also lost a lot of weight, Jazz convinces Nisha to be like, hey, we should start a healthy journey together before Melinda gets here. Basically, so they could just kind of, I would say, try it out. It's kind of like a trial and error thing, and they definitely fail at it. What happens at the sushi place is they just eat a bunch of sushi because it's an all you can eat, and Nisha is going in spreading these lies. She's like, if I eat sushi, I'm gonna be skinny like these Japanese women who also eat sushi, and it's like, Then we finally have Melinda showing up, and she's a very sweet lady. She has the cutest dog that's dressed up. She brings over to Jazz and Nisha's house, but she basically just flat out goes like, "How do you feel about like how much weight you've gained?" Pretty much, and Jazz is like, "I hate it. I hate it." She does not say anything else besides like, "I'm done with it. Like it's not getting better. I need help." Melinda just freaking grabs the laptop, cracks it open, and she's like, "I'm about to do a life expectancy calculator on you." I would not advise this. This seems more like a little parlor trick party thing people can do, but her point is basically to just put the fear in these two women. Basically, she only does it for Jazz, but that's really what the point is. And Jazz answers a few questions, and it comes back Based on your answers, other people who had the exact same answers only lived up until 44 years old. Jazz says, I'm 40, and she just breaks down and she's like, I can't leave my child in this world right now. She needs me. And, like I said, Nana is Jazz's reason for really going into this, but just hearing 4 years, less than 4 years, because she's already 40, handle. And even when Nisha hears that, she's just like, wow, this is a wake up call. We will see if she's telling the truth with that. After this whole kind of like situation with the life expectancy calculator, Jazz makes an appointment to see Dr. Nori, and Nisha obviously drives her. Jazz says she hasn't been in a doctor's office in over 2 years, and she is already worried about getting like the regular test done. She doesn't know what her BP is. She doesn't understand, not understand. She doesn't know if she has diabetes. She's like, I don't know anything. She doesn't even know her weight. More than 2 years ago, honestly, the last time she was weighed might have been when she was pregnant. They're joking about the doctor's going to call you an enabler, Nisha, because that's what you are. And she's like, no, I'm not an enabler. Of course not. We're going to do this together. And the Jazz wants the bariatric surgery. Then Nisha is not okay with going under the knife. She said, no, I don't want surgery, but I'll do the nutritional journey with you pretty much. It's definitely not good to be forced to go under any major surgeries. But at the doctor's office, the episode kind of starts tapering off right before Jazz gets weighed. They're like, let's go ahead and just get your weight, because that's what they do. Let's get the elephant out of the way. No pun intended. Hopefully, the doctor is going to give her like a nutritional plan and kind of what we're used to seeing in these hundreds of thousands of pounds TV shows. The ending snippet after this episode, like I said, tapers off into like until next week. It doesn't seem like Nisha's going to do the nutrition journey with Jazz. So we will see how that goes for Jazz. But I can't wait for episode 2. I will probably make a video on that as well, as long as I remember. But thank you guys for sticking with me. If you love these shows as much as I do, go ahead and leave a comment. And if you want to see episode 2, go ahead and say that down there too. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys.